The next sub-project actually is considerably more tormented, for want of a better term. Anyway, the next sub-project from Noble Ape was a project called the Mushroom Boy. And I continue to develop the Mushroom Boy, but I don't continue to develop the Mushroom Boy the way it was originally intended to be developed. So in 1997, 1998, I was interested in using the biological principles in Noble Ape to create cityscapes. Literally vast urban, suburban environments with, cars and businesses and houses and parks and all this kind of stuff. Basically like SimCity, but where you would go down to the individual agent in the simulation. So literally like Noble Apes populating a city. And this I worked on for about a year. I got a grant with the Commonwealth Science and Industry Research Organisation, commonly known as the CSIRO in Australia, to actually develop this. However, they wanted about 70% of the intellectual property, and I didn't take that grant, so I could maintain it open source and still work on it even to this day. And the idea behind the Mushroom Boy was actually an urban terrorism simulator, because it was about a kid who was creating a dirty bomb, and he'd set off the dirty bomb somewhere in the city, and there were special agents that were trying to trap him, and there was a kind of news media and the social simulation associated with whether people would work with the Mushroom Boy or work with the feds, for want of a better term. And there was all this kind of additional narrative, which was secondary to a rich urban environment, creating what I had done with Noble Ape in terms of rich biological environment, but making an urban environment out of that. So now what I'm doing is taking the Mushroom Boy and putting Noble Apes in cityscapes. Now, I kind of thought about using the term Noble Schmuck or a variety of different, or Noble Worker, variety of different ideas associated with the entities that go through the suburban environment and live in the suburban environment. But the first task, which I really started this year heavily, is putting the Noble Apes into this environment and just translating what is very organic associated with moving around a biological environment like an island or a chain of islands and trees and all that kind of stuff to buildings and structures and parks and fences and all these kind of constraints that one has in a suburban environment. Taking the rich bottom-up artificial intelligence, also known as artificial life, that Noble Ape has, and translating that to an urban environment. So that is the Mushroom Boy. It was started in 1997, maybe 1998, that kind of time frame, and I'm still working on it to this day. I still get interest out of this. It's got an OpenGL environment which generates the houses. Well, the underlying algorithms generate that, but that draw the houses and the trees and the streets and all this other kind of stuff. So it's a really quite interesting project, and certainly one that I'm working on periodically, aside from the other stuff with Noble Ape that I'm working on. So that's the Mushroom Boy, the second of 6 sub-projects of Noble Ape.